Hello and welcome to the final suit breakdown for the GAT-X105B/FP Build Strike Gundam Full Package, piloted by Reiji, with support from Sei Iori. The last DLC suit and the last suit we haven't covered in the suit breakdown. Build Strike is from Build Fighters, and of course, because of that, it has some pretty crazy movesets. You have the basic shot. Not too bad. You have the charge, if we can pull off the charge, which is pretty nice, pretty quick. The only problem is that if you have an opponent who likes to sidestep or who likes to keep moving, you will have some difficulties landing the shots. But it does some pretty decent damage. From there, you have the shoulder cannons that are not too bad at all. I say shoulder cannons, it's the backpack cannons. And you can also fire the backpack. Will chase down your opponent, and will of course come back. Striker goes in with a nice slash, and you have the charge. The charge has hyper armor on it, and depending on the direction of your attack, you get a different attack from the charge, which is really cool, including one that can stun. The other really cool ranged ability that it has is if you hold down a melee charge, you fire the backpack off into the sky, where it will fire a small explosion that leaves a residue behind, which is very nice. The Build Strike for ranged has a pretty solid kit. It's not the best kit, but it does the job very well, and I really like it. I think the fact that the backpack itself tracks in on your opponent's really good. Mid-range, it can kind of suffer, but long-range, because of the backpack, you have quite a bit of options, especially when you include the melee charge. Now, once you've used it, until you burst or die, you do not have it again, which is definitely something to remember. And speaking of the burst, let's get in here and show it off. It is a melee burst, and we missed, so we'll have to take another chance at that. Chiz, and we'll use that melee again to fire off the backpack. It'll fly up, and then there's the explosion. Quite a bit of damage, very nice, very hard to dodge because it goes above the map, making it quite difficult to see, let alone to connect with. I think what the Build Strike brings to the table in the form of variety is really good. It is still a DLC suit, which means it has all the problems that DLC suits have, in that you have to pay for them. But I think what it brings to the table is really nice and very unique compared to the other suits in this game. No other suit really has a mobile attack unit that's able to fire off like that, even though a couple other suits do have a striker. Now, as we go into the second round and we show off the melee, of course, we ask and answer the same simple question, which is, should you purchase and should you use the Build Strike? Yes, I think if you are willing to buy a DLC suit, I think the Build Strike is definitely one to consider. It's only a $300 cost. It's very cheap. It is, of course, still DLC, $5. For a game that has no online presence anymore. That is definitely something to consider. But, again, it fills a very unique niche that the game did not have otherwise, and was the last piece of DLC to come out for this game. But I do think, personally, that it is worth it. As we get into the melee, you have the charge, and if you just use a basic melee attack from the charge with no directional input, you get the stun. You have back input, which still gives you the stun. Side input, which is different, and lets you do that little side step, which is followed by a stab. Not too bad at all. And then you have the forward dash input, which is the dive, which is very nice. You have, you have the burst that we're going to show off now. And hopefully not miss with this time. There we go. Very cool looking melee burst. Not too bad at all. You may be wondering about the shield. The shield does have some cool benefits to it. It's mainly hyper armor. But when your shield breaks, your dash does not have the ability to chain out of it anymore. Which is definitely something to consider. Better melee. Forward melee. I missed. Dashing melee. Forward melee. That nice charge. Side melee. Too bad at all. And finally, back melee, which is just a simple pop-up. No combo potential, other than like a sidestep. With all that said, though, I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum, and this has been the Super Breakdown. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum the Build Strike has to offer.